Hi, my name is Leah Day, and welcome to this video for the free Motion Quilting Project. Today we're back working on the spoonflower version of Express Your Love, and I'm stitching out another background section, this time with the design called The Missing Piece. And let's get on the machine and see how this design works in free motion. So we're going to get started. This last design that we learned is Happy Stitch, and that's a stacking design. Well, this next design we're going to learn is a stacking design too, and it is based off of a square. So I'm going to stitch down and come up with a square. And so the name for missing piece is kind of an odd name, but that's exactly what it's referring to. It's referring to a missing piece out of the square. So we're just going to stitch a square within it like that. That's our missing piece, and now I'm going to travel stitch and simply echo that square within. So it looks something like that. And so to continue the design, all I need to do is stitch out and come up with a new square, stitch a square within it, and travel stitch and echo around that little tiny square. And if you ever get in a situation where you don't particularly like the size or the shape of the square you stitched within the square, no worries. This is what you can do. Just echo it, and then go inside and say, let's say I wanted to make that a little smaller. You just make it a little smaller with an extra echo. No big deal. I think I'll stitch one right here. Got that little pocket over there I'll need to deal with. That's no big deal. But basically, it's just careful stitching of straight lines and sharp angles. It's not really that difficult of a design, but fitting it into, let's say, a more curvy shape like this lock right here would probably be a little bit more difficult. At least in this space I have some straight lines I can kind of base my squares off of, and that makes it a little bit easier. Right here I think I'm just going to stitch one straight line into that section. You're going to have some weird areas to deal with, and so how I dealt with those generally is to stitch kind of a 90-degree angle, right angle, and then fill it with echoes, and that really does keep it nicely consistent with the rest of the design. I'm going to come down, and let's form a very large square right here. And you'll notice that my travel stitching wasn't really perfect along this line, and there's a really easy way of hiding that, kind of fudging it, and that's to stitch right along it again, and that builds up more thread texture, so it just looks like a slightly thicker line. It doesn't look like you necessarily made a mistake. So it's just a little travel stitching, and then coming up with a straight line, over with a straight line. Straight lines and sharp angles can be challenging to master in free motion simply because they require a lot of control, a lot of hand-eye coordination, a lot of control over where the quilt is going, over what it's doing. Come up one more time. And that's the thing, your echoes don't have to be perfectly balanced. You can always just travel stitch along the edge and stitch one more straight line through that space, and that's fine. Now I ended up with that kind of little narrow pocket, and that's okay. I think I'm just going to leave it just the way it is, that little space right there between the two. I think that looks kind of cool, actually. Sometimes the squares don't stack together perfectly. That was a situation where it didn't. I could come in here and stitch some straight lines if I wanted to. That would be cool. I could leave it alone. I kind of like this effect, just to put some little tiny boxes in a row. Something like that. But you just continue to build up your big square, then your little square, and then fill the rest of the space with repeating lines of echoes. So that's it for this video. I really hope that you've enjoyed learning how to stitch Missing Piece. This design was also taught on a much bigger scale. a really big bed quilt version in the Craftsy class Free Motion Fillers Volume 1. So if you're interested in learning how to stitch filler designs on a softer scale, on a scale that's going to be more appropriate for a bed quilt or a throw quilt, something that you curl up with and is soft and snuggly, then definitely check out that class, Free Motion Fillers Volume 1, because in that class we create a throw quilt, just a couch throw, together, and all of the designs, you'll learn 50 designs, they're all taught on a bigger scale. So definitely check that out. My name is Leah Day, and this has been a video for the Free Motion Quilting Project. Find hundreds of videos stitching out many beautiful free motion quilting designs at freemotionproject.com. Until next time, let's go quilt.